Hey, this is Rob Anspach, and welcome back to another edition of eHeroes. This is episode 226 for those keeping count, and we're going all the way to Norway. And I have Fredrik Klauset with us today as a guest, and we're going to talk about the struggles of being an entrepreneur, getting into entrepreneurship, and probably a lot of other great stuff. We're going to touch on a lot of stuff. So I want to thank everyone for being here, and Fredrik, thanks for being here. You're just, I've known you for a couple months, and you're doing some great stuff, and you have a men's group on Facebook that is starting to really pick up, and for those that are curious, I started my TikTok journey a little bit ago because I really didn't care for TikTok, but Fredrik was my first follower, so yay! I don't know if that's something to celebrate, but it's really kind of cool because I'm in Pennsylvania, you're in Norway, you've read some of my books, and it's just for me, it's fascinating having my books being found in another country, and but then to see what you're doing and to know that there's people out there that really care about others like you do. So tell us about this men's group.
Okay,
Put you on the spot.
Where do I start? Thank you for the introduction, by the way. The men's group is a group that I started running. I started running some groups for men some years ago, and it have just developed. And it started actually with me traveling to US back in 2013 or 14, and I was just spending a week with some men up in Utah in the mountains, some kind of camping experience, and from that it has just evolved, like my curiosity about self-development. I had my own struggles over the years, and so I've been searching, and so I started some years ago creating some men's groups here in Norway, and I think it was during COVID, the lockdown, I started having online groups, and it's still in the process of evolving, but it's something I'm really passionate about. Things around men's health, and then I had my own burnout when my son was born, and that was like a pretty intense experience of like becoming a father, also going through a burnout again. It was the second time in my life, and I was doing pretty good with work, and a lot of things went well, and then I started to become more and more tired, and I suddenly realized I was in a pretty intense burnout, and I didn't see it was coming. So it's, a lot of my own sparks for gathering men, it's to do some kind of inner work, self-development, being, what can I say, the best possible man that you can be with the time that we have given, in some ways.
So what were some of the things that you had to overcome? I know that over the years being an entrepreneur, there are times when I felt burnout. I've changed some things, changed either pricing or hours worked, or I took a vacation, or what were some of the things that you did?
One of the things that has been really important for me was definitely therapy. Another thing was, learning to take better care of myself. Relaxation, sleep, how I spend my time. That's the things I'm thinking about now. But I mean, I was deeply depressed. I was at the same time as having a burnout. So
right.
yeah, I
You know,
needed therapy. Yeah.
and you know, and there's a lot of entrepreneurs that I think work too hard, um, and then at the end of the day, they realize I just put in all this time for very little money, and so it does it affects your your mental stability. It burns you out. You're not taking the time to exercise, to eat right, to to understand your time limits. And
Mm-hmm.
so, you started to learn all these things as a result of burning out. And, now you're on this mission to help more men, especially, you know, understand that time is limited and this is what you need to do. And I think you're doing a good job.
I mean, for me, I also see like the burnout that I had as some kind of gift. Uh, some time after my burnout, I also went back to school, did a course in digital, started a course in digital marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Then I connected with you and met a lot of interesting people.
Is that good or bad? Just
It's a
interesting.
good thing. It's a good thing. So the paradox is that it always comes something good out of a crisis
Right.
and
Yeah.
opens up to new possibilities.
Well, it's things do happen, things do occur as a result of crisis, but only if the person takes action to overcome it.
Mm.
And so, I've gone through a bunch of crises and failures and losses, and I've learned those lessons to teach other people. You're doing the same thing, but there are some people who will face an obstacle. They don't know how to overcome it. They don't know how to get through it, and they just give up. And for anybody that's listening, I know that giving up sounds easier, but sometimes giving up is the worst thing that you can do, because overcoming that obstacle, going through that obstacle, conquering it can be the greatest thing that you can actually accomplish. And that'll give you hope and make more money and greater opportunities, but you'll never know until you try it.
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so I went from being very depressed to be extremely curious. So I would say that I'm extremely curious, and I mean, I like to talk to new people. I like to read books and get information about things I'm curious about. So that has also like led me to be on this podcast with you,
Mm-hmm.
and for that I'm deeply grateful.
Yeah. Well, there's also, I've traveled all over. I've not been to Norway yet, but I would assume that Norway is very similar to every other country out there. And, you're trying to, become an entrepreneur, and you're using the digital realm to do it. But right now, most of the men that are in your group are probably from Norway. They're Norwegian, and they're looking for
Mm.
you for answers, as well as a lot of my clients, are from the United States. And do you have clients that are from other countries that maybe there's a culture gap?
Maybe, but during COVID, in the lockdown, we actually had a guy from Washington and one from UK
Wow.
joining. But then I changed it to Norwegian. But
Mm.
maybe it's time to open it up again.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, I think that I think we all live in this great, well, it's a great big world, but
Mm.
the internet made it smaller, and it made it
Mm.
easier for us to communicate with those who really want our service.
Mm.
And it's, had I not been on the internet, had my books not gotten everywhere, you might have never found me.
Mm.
And there's probably someone out there, whether it be in Washington, whether it be in the United States, or even Italy or Spain or Germany, that's experiencing the same things that you are going through that need help, they need to know where to go. And if you're offering that type of service, you know, they're gonna find you. They're gonna seek you out.
Mm.
So, you know, I think for you the biggest thing right now is to open up the group to more people.
Mm. Mm.
You know.
I'm actually in the process because I closed the group for new participants, but I am in the process of starting a new group in January.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. And so what are some of the things that you talk about in the men's group?
So it's a lot of things, but what I also do is that I invite different experts on different topics, and it can be everything from nutrition. Uh, we had a guy that is really good with nutrition and those kind of things from Norway. Was talking about fasting and all kind of interesting things, and we had a guy that was a therapist that came in, talked about all kind of family dynamics, mother, father, all kind of relationships, all kind of relationship stuff actually. One guy that was more towards romantic relationships, and I'm planning on now having some new men in coming and talking about marketing and how to create things and business, like all the different aspects of life skills,
Right.
basically.
You know, and the funny thing is I didn't know you years ago. I didn't know you through the burnout. I didn't really know you through COVID. I've only known you this year. But listening to you, looking at you when you talk about the men's group, you smile, you're passionate, you have this you know this desire to help. And you know, for me, that when I see that in an entrepreneur, I know that they're going to be very successful because that passion comes out, and you know, others see it. And you know, I see it in your videos on TikTok. You know, you're just, you may be sharing life, but you're helping so many people. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. I mean, I think the reason that I have the kind of passion that I have toward it is also because I was on the complete opposite side of passion, deep
Yeah.
down.
Right.
And then I was starting to search for meaning, search for passion. I even didn't even know what my passion was. And I mean, searching for meaning and everything.
Yeah. And so in your search for the meaning, whether it be meaning of life, meaning of entrepreneurship, meaning of friendship, you know,
Everything, yeah.
yeah, everything. And now you're coming together, you're bringing all these men that are going through the same thing, and you're helping them overcome whatever their burnout is. And you're going to make them stronger. You're going to make them, you know, capable of overcoming so much. And you know, see, for those that are listening, this is what a true e-hero does. An entrepreneurial hero, you know, they put others first, and they use their past experiences as their superpower to help others. Yeah. So you're doing real well.
Thank you, thank you. Appreciate that. And it's the group is not just for men with going through burnout. I mean, that can be one aspect of it, but
Right.
it's some sort of challenging things that is going on, and you want support, you need support, you want to get back in the zone again in some way.
Right.
Mm.
So let's talk about Norway. You've always been there. You've grown up there.
Grown up there, yeah.
So that's basically, you know,
Never left.
never left. And but it seems like it's a nice place. I mean, it's but you've come to the United States. Have you gone to other countries?
I've been in US, I've been in UK, I've been several times in US actually.
Mm.
In was once in San Diego, once in New York, once in Las Vegas, and once in Ohio. No, Utah.
Utah. Who
Yeah,
goes to Ohio?
and Pennsylvania next year, hopefully.
Yeah, Pennsylvania. Yeah,
Mm.
it's San Diego's a nice place too. I've been there several times. Vegas, you can take it or leave it. I'm not a Vegas, you know, all those lights and gambling, that's just not my thing. So
Mm.
I think that they need to do a better job in telling people, hey, there's much more to Vegas than just gambling. But
Mm.
that's where people go.
Gambling was what I saw. I mean, it was intense
Yeah.
experience going from Las Vegas and up to what is the name, Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do you like to do when you're not helping others?
Spending a lot of time with family these days.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big thing. My son is 4, so it requires quite some attention.
Yeah,
Uh,
and to go from burnout to now spending more time with the family, that took probably a little bit of kind of rethinking of how you do things, because now you have to adjust time, to spend with family.
mm, mm. Yeah, so that takes a lot of time. Beside that, I like to go some walks. We live close to the nature, so I like to go in nature, and I like to spend time with friends.
Mm-hmm.
Basic things like that. Yeah, well, I'm starting to like to read more, so I enjoy reading again, and so I read quite a lot.
What's your favorite book so far? It doesn't have to be mine.
Yours? No, I'm reading one of your books now about the one with Tony and copywriting.
Oh, the one right here on the shelf.
Yes,
Wise Guys
yes.
Copywriting Handbook. Yeah.
That's one of the books that I'm reading. Beside that, I'm reading a book around health
Mm-hmm.
right now. So yeah.
So what, I mentioned you on TikTok, and for
Mm.
those that are following, I don't know if you can see me holding this up. You really can if you're listening to it on a podcast, but on YouTube, follow Fredrik on TikTok at Fredrik Klauset, and I'll share the link down below.
Mm.
But you have a lot of great videos and just a lot of great philosophies that you're sharing. And now, but how do they find you on Facebook?
Facebook, my private Facebook page. I also have a Facebook page that is named Fredrik Klauset Coaching. That is in the process
Mm-hmm.
of building slowly and sharing more and more from that. So yeah, that's where people can find me.
And they can always join your Facebook group, the men's group, but it's the new one will be open after January.
There will be a new group, yeah, opening up. Not a new Facebook group, but a new group for participants.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
The Facebook group is always open for people who are curious.
Yeah, but I think right now it's in Norwegian, right?
It's in Norwegian right now, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, but here's the thing: is that Facebook is doing a very good job with the translation button, so you
Hmm.
can always click the translation and discover it, whatever you're saying in English or
Hmm.
French or Spanish, wherever
Hmm.
you are in this great big world. It doesn't
Hmm.
matter if he's writing it in Norwegian, you can transcribe, have it translated into whatever language, which
Yeah,
is
yeah, it's pretty okay.
pretty
Hmm.
cool with what Facebook does. But
Hmm.
there's a lot of interaction there, and I highly recommend everybody goes over there and joins. But follow him on TikTok, and like I said, he was my first follower on TikTok, and it's I, like anything in this world. And I've taught social media for the last, I don't know, 13 years. I was never a fan of TikTok only because of, our government doesn't like, Chinese owned stuff. And I know that's not very good thing. But I started to watch what my clients and my friends were doing on TikTok. And, sometimes you got to say, well, I'm not doing anything offensive. So let me put my content on there and see what happens. And, more and more the algorithm on TikTok is so amazing. I mean, I've known so many people who their videos they've gotten millions of views. And, you just get more and more followers, I think, on TikTok than on even YouTube now. And so, what I'm trying to say is, try new things. Don't let your what other people are saying dictate what you do. And I think sometimes that philosophy of resisting leads to burnout as well. So, sometimes you just gotta overcome that and take a chance. So anything you want to add to the group or to the audience? Any last words that you want to share?
I think I don't have anything right now, but it's a lot of things, always a lot of things to talk about. And I mean, for me, going into the digital world, starting to learn a little bit about marketing, and reading, coming over your books and starting to read, and that was a really, what can I say, positive thing for me, because it's what I feel that you do in the books is you make things so simple.
Yeah, and the one of the reasons why I started writing the Rob Versus books was because of my sarcasm, and it became my personal brand. People were like, "Oh, Rob, you're so funny. Can I hire you to do SEO or social media or marketing?" But it was the personal touch that I was adding to the books that were making people like me better. With you have to find that personality, why people are attracted to you, what makes you laugh, what makes them laugh. And it doesn't have to be sarcasm, it could be something else. But people need to know that you're the real person in real life and on, Facebook or social media or everywhere. And I think you're doing a good job with it.
Thank you. Deeply appreciated. Yeah.
So anybody out there that's listening, please, head on over to Fredrik's TikTok and Facebook, join his groups, and if whether you're a man or a woman struggling and you want a little bit new insight on things, join his group. And I know that you said mostly it's men's group, but I'm sure you'd make it open to everybody.
Yeah, and we plan to do it in a new way, yeah, in the future, yeah.
So everybody, thank you for listening. See ya.
Bye.